There's something strange happening in the rink. Who you gonna call?
Buzz Pucks.
Wait, if there's a bunch of trades happening this week, who you gonna call?
Buzz Pucks.
Buzz Bucks.
That was fun.
Because Buzz Bucks makes me feel good.
Yeah.
All right, welcome to Buzz Bucks. I'm Bert.
I'm Clay.
Do you guys just love the random shitty songs that I sing for you?
About as much as Clay does. And I'm going to talk in the third
Whatever,
period.
Clay.
Yeah.
Whatever, you love them. So, okay, I said welcome already.
Yep.
There's a bunch of trades this week.
Then we're going to start with them.
We're going to start with those.
One happened immediately before recording this.
Yeah, thanks, Buffalo. But yeah, we're going to go through all those and then all the games as normal. But before we do that, Clay, what are we drinking?
We are drinking Ninjas versus Unicorns, which is a double IPA by Pipeworks. We had them last year
Out of Chicago.
at a Chi-Town. It's 8%. It's a fun ninja dual wielding
Oh, that's not too hoppy either. It's not too bad.
katanas against
Yeah,
the unicorn.
Pipeworks really goes all out with their
Can art.
can art, yeah. And it's not even like a wrap; it's the can
Yeah,
that is like that. So that's
fun.
doubly
I like
impressive,
that.
actually. Yeah. So, like I said, this is week 19, by the way.
Oh, this is dangerous. It's 20. It's week 20.
Is it week 20?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I wrote my notes down wrong. Don't worry, I wrote the right games. I just wrote the wrong
I hope
week.
so.
And this Friday is the trade deadline.
Yes.
And some teams are just getting a jump on that. And
Yep.
by some, I mean like half the league. Because I don't...
We'll probably do because it's the trade deadline, we're going to do a short week and record before Monday, before Sunday, because I'm out of town.
Oh,
next
I forgot about that.
So-
Okay, yeah. Well, we can do Saturday.
Yeah, we'll do Saturday.
Yeah, I had forgotten about that.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me. So we'll do Saturday, I guess. I'll still have it come out on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But it won't cover Saturdays or Sundays games.
Yeah.
So it'll be a little
Smart.
short week for us, but we'll make up for that. Will you be back?
I should.
Okay. We'll go with it'll be normal after
Yeah.
that. But yes, I forgot Clay is going out of town. And then you're going out of town again.
Yeah.
There might be somewhere where we don't have an episode in
might
the
be 2
coming
weeks from now.
Yeah, because somebody's going to Puerto Rico for a wedding.
Aha.
All right, anyway, let's get to these trades. Some of them really interesting, some of them kind of one or two particularly confusing.
Very confusing. But there were some big trades.
There were.
The deadline is probably going to be a little boring just because.
I think the next few days should be interesting. There's some teams that haven't done much, even if they're going to do anything like Carolina. I don't think has made a trade yet.
Well, it's also GMs know that, like, make the trade now. Don't wait till the deadline day.
Yeah.
You'll get
them
more.
in as fast as possible,
Yeah.
and then you get them acclimated faster, yada yada.
You have them for longer, even if it's a couple, 2 games, but still.
Yeah. So, happening one day after we recorded last week, on February 22nd, the Arizona Coyotes acquired Shea Weber's, I guess, contract.
Yep.
And a 5th-round pick from the Vegas Golden Knights for Dyson Mayo. He is a prospect, I guess, or he's just unsigned?
No, he is their 2021 first-round pick.
Dyson Mayo is?
Yes, I believe he was.
Oh, for some reason I thought he was older than that. Okay,
Uh-uh.
never mind. So yeah, the reason this happened was the cap isn't just like adding numbers in and out. There's ways to like massage and manipulate the cap.
LTIR is one of them.
LTIR is one of them, but
Shea
there's
Weber hasn't played for 2 years.
No, he's never going to play again.
Nope.
But so in doing this, sending Shea Weber's contract to Arizona, who can absorb it very easily, it allows Vegas to have more room
To move one of-
possibly bring somebody in.
To move one of their players onto LTIR,
who is Mark Stone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or
Spoilers for your
Logan
news.
Thompson. I don't think he got moved to LTIR. He's just on IR. They might be moving him to LTIR.
I thought he did go on to LTIR. Maybe I'm incorrect. But that's it for that trade, really. Just kind of
Thompson's not playing the rest of the year.
no.
But
Stone probably won't play until the playoffs, if I had to guess.
Same with like Thompson if he does get healthy.
But yeah, that's it for that trade, really. Just kind of a cap moving around. Hey, they got Dyson Mayo, who's a former first-round pick, so maybe he turns into he's a defenseman, I'm pretty sure. And, the Coyotes get a fifth-round pick for their...
Yes.
This also helps them get to the cap floor next year.
Yep. Next up, future considerations makes a move.
Oh, yeah.
He goes from the Chicago Blackhawks to the Ottawa Senators for Nikita Zaitsev and a 2023 second and a 2026 fourth round pick. So somehow the Ottawa Senators get out from Zaitsev's contract.
Yeah, it's just straight cap dump.
This is a cap dump that is $4.5 million off their cap.
Yep.
And it costs them a second and a fourth for 2 years from now, 3 years from now.
Whatever, in the future, in 2026.
So
yeah,
it's good for Chicago, who's on the rebuild. That's a great...
Yeah, they get a veteran defenseman. I mean, he could play. He's not good.
No, he's not good. So that's a great tank
play.
commander.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Chicago wasn't done. The next day, they traded Josiah Slavin to the Anaheim Ducks for Hunter Drew. That's it. Those are both prospects or in the AHL. That wasn't much of a trade. All right. Here now is a large one that, I'm glad this worked out this way, so you get to talk about it.
Yeah, so the big trade that kind of came out of nowhere is the Boston Bruins acquired Garnet Hathaway and Dmitry Orlov from the Washington Capitals for Craig Smith. The Capitals get a 2023 first, 2024 third, and a 2025 second. They also used Minnesota as a cap dump. So
it's the second time Minnesota has done that this year.
And you can only do it 3 times.
Yes, you can.
So basically, the Bruins get Dmitry Orlov at 25%.
Mm-hmm. And he's a UFA.
He is a UFA.
Right? Yeah.
But they Washington getting Craig Smith.
Also a UFA, if I remember correctly.
Boston's able to move on from Smith, who was kind of the odd man out at this point.
They added Garnet Hathaway.
They added Garnet Hathaway. This makes me sad.
Yeah,
in general.
I get it. Yeah,
I like Hathaway because he's that dick that you hate when he's not on your team.
Yeah.
And now he's on Boston.
With Brad Marchand. Another dick that you hate that he's not on your team.
Trent Frederick. Yeah. This is just a goony team.
Yeah.
Just a dirty team, and I hate it.
Dirty little Boston team.
And then Dmitry Orlov is defensive depth, which is what Boston needs.
Just shores up their top
He's
6.
Basically on the third line.
Yeah, he'll look good
he
there.
He can be a third line third pair.
He's very strong third pairing defenseman.
He's amazing third pairing defenseman.
Yeah. What was he on Washington? Second pair?
First, he went back and forth from first and second.
Yeah, so Boston's loading up. They still have the best record in the league right now, and they're trying to make sure that they can just walk to the Stanley Cup.
And Garnet Hathaway is forward depth,
they sandpaper too. So
very good forward
They also let's not overlook. They also got the signing rights to Andrei Svetlakov. Boston did, which I think was part of
Minnesota.
I think it came from Minnesota because they have to give each other something.
Minnesota gets a 5th round pick for this.
Yes,
for taking the cap.
Oh wait, no. Oh, that's what it was. So, yes. So Andrei Svechnikov was who Minnesota traded to Washington for Orlov, and then Washington traded him and all the rest of it to Boston.
Yep.
And then Orlov from Minnesota to Boston. Those 3-way deals get a little confusing.
Yes, they do. And yeah, Garnet Hathaway is, I think it was Money Puck, Hathaway, Dowd, and I can't remember the third guy on that line.
I don't know.
Was one of the most efficient and effective forward pairs, high scoring forward pairs.
Great.
Which is
now Boston has half of
which is crazy because it's Washington's third line.
And it was Garnet Hathaway and Nick Dowd.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Boston was not done. The 2 days later, on the 25th, they traded Keith Kincaid to the Avalanche for Shane Bowers.
This is just goalie depth for
AHL trade. Yeah, goalie depth for Colorado. Shane Bowers, I think, is a forward prospect, younger guy that hasn't really worked out for the Avalanche. So now he gets to be in the Boston system, and I'm sure he'll become a superstar.
Right. Now, same day as the Boston or the Bowers Kincaid trade, the New York Rangers sent Vitaly
Kravtsov.
I'm not wearing my
Kravtsov.
I'm not wearing my glasses, and this is far enough away where I can't fucking read.
I can make it bigger too.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Vitaly Kravtsov for
Clay's old.
William Lockwood and a 2026 seventh round pick.
Yes, this is.
They didn't have the Rangers didn't really have the room for Kravtsov. Also, they're kind of worried that he was going to go back to the KHL.
Well, on top of that, he requested a trade as well. And on top of that, it hasn't happened yet, but this is part of the Rangers kind of juggling stuff to add Patrick Kane to their team.
Yeah, they were kind of worried about him going back to the KHL, but with a lot of the Vancouver has a bunch of Russians on their team. So
That's true. It's really strange.
They're willing to take that risk. If he leaves, they only lost Lockwood in a seventh for it.
Yeah. I mean,
kind of
it's not that much.
Low risk.
And his contract isn't even that much either. It's under $1 million.
He has not played, or he did not play for Boston. Again, he didn't play against Boston.
Vitaly Kravtsov?
Yeah.
Kravtsov? He did play a little bit this year.
No, I mean like for the Canucks yet.
Oh, gotcha. All right, moving on. Still on February 25th, Nino Niederreiter was traded from the Nashville Predators to the Winnipeg Jets for only a second-round pick. And I say that because we're going to get to another trade later on that you're going to be like, how did you only get a second-round pick for him?
All right. How did they only get a second-round pick before that other trade?
That's true.
This is a fleecing.
What some of these trades have been, and especially this one that we'll get to in a second too. This one also confuses me. But I, in a vacuum,
this is a fleecing.
In a vacuum, I would be like, yeah, he's maybe worth a second-round pick. But he's signed for 3 more years, I think.
I think he's worth a first. Sorry, he's worth a first.
I think so.
One of Nashville's highest-scoring players.
Yeah.
All of their top 4 scorers are out injured now. Or
and
traded.
Yet they still had a pretty good week.
Or traded. So I don't know.
I mean it. The other trade that they did that we'll talk about in a little bit certainly softens this one and the confusion of this one. But
I mean, yeah, I'll make a joke about this once you talk about the other Nashville news.
It's just it's interesting, this trade, and I mean it's not nothing. A second-round pick is still pretty valuable, but I can't believe they didn't get a first.
$4 million for the next 4 years or 3 years.
Yeah, they didn't even retain any salary.
No.
Oh, maybe that was part of it too. But yeah,
I don't get it.
Let's move on to the next one. 2 Russians were traded for each other.
2 Russians were traded for each other. Montreal Canadiens sent Evgeny Dadonov at 50% retained to the Dallas Stars for Denis Gurianov.
Yeah, I guess Dallas was just like, we should get Dadonov back.
I don't understand how Dadonov keeps getting traded for the stuff he does.
I don't know, because Gurianov is younger. He's been kind of middling for Dallas, but I mean, I get Dadonov's best seasons were in Dallas.
Yeah,
a few years ago. So maybe he can rekindle some of that with Sagan and Ben, but maybe, but this is kind of a lateral move as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no, Dadonov's not bad, and they save some contract,
a little bit of money.
They save a little bit of money, but I'm just a little bit more just confused about this.
I mean, maybe Dallas was just like, we should get him back, get the gang back together.
I mean,
from that one year we went to the Stanley Cup final.
Dadonov's not bad. He's fine.
Hey, look, Dallas is also first in the Central Division right now. They're having a strong season, so this doesn't hurt them.
It's certainly. Just remember last year when Vegas traded Dadonov to Anaheim.
They didn't, though.
And then they traded him to Montreal.
Yeah.
But
that was one of the funnier things that happened last year.
Yes.
All right, well, moving on. Oh, it's my turn.
Yes, it is.
St. Louis Blues traded Ivan Barbashev to the Vegas Golden Knights.
I mean-
for Zach Dean.
We knew Barbashev was moving.
Yeah, there was all sorts of chatter about Barbashev moving
Just kind of surprised it's to the Knights. And
for only Zach Dean.
yeah, no, the Knights did
They
good.
didn't even- yeah, for real.
The Knights did good.
I would say Barbashev and Niederreiter are probably on the same level of
Right.
value of player, I think. I'll be honest, I don't know all the prospects for every team. So Zach Dean might be like a pretty good prospect.
feel like I've
don't
heard the
know,
name.
but
Maybe Zach Dean's that first rounder that I was thinking of,
maybe.
and not Mayo.
And not Dyson Mayo.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say that's good forward depth for Vegas. Barbashev's I think a more defensive center
Which is something that they need.
forward in general. And yeah, that's something they need. So I don't think it's a terrible trade necessarily. I don't think St. Louis got very much, but what?
Is you? It's just
You,
your
you just
teams.
want me to do it? Yeah, these are my two teams. Well, you get to read all of this. I just hope you know that.
Oh no.
So are you sure?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So since these are both my teams, the Chicago Blackhawks sent Stanley Cup champion Jack Johnson
Yes, he did.
back to Colorado for Andres Englund.
It's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know why Colorado wanted Jack Johnson back, but
You just heard.
I mean, Cale Makar is in concussion protocol, but
He
it's not
is.
like he filled that void.
I mean, Eric Johnson is out with injury, but they're different
Like
positions.
he always is.
Yeah. Right.
And they're not even brothers.
Nope.
Bullshit.
All right.
Look like each other.
Here's the big trade.
Yes.
The big trade.
The biggest
that
one.
was chattering, and this was
It's
the
really complicated.
most annoying crap. How each detail was dripped out hour by
I know.
hour.
I saw somebody joke that they
It
were
was a
like
slow
they
news
finished
day.
they finished the trade call and then both GMs just went to bed or something.
Yeah. I
Because they were like, oh, okay.
I think Shayna was the one that I can't remember her first name, was the insider that finally like broke all
It was
of the
just like,
news.
here's everything.
Oh man, it was freaking
Took
frustrating.
forever to find out the details of this, but enough of a tease. What was it, Clay?
It was Timo Meyer got traded by the San Jose Sharks to the New Jersey Devils. And it wasn't just Timo Meyer. It was
wasn't.
Timo Meyer. It was Scott Harrington. It was Zachary Edmond.
Sure.
Zachary Edmond. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Santeri Hitaka.
cool
Timor.
name.
What?
I said that's a cool name.
It's a great name. And then Timor Ibragimov. Ibragimov.
Yeah, Bragimov. Those are
and-
three prospects, I believe.
Yep,
Yeah.
prospects, and then a 2024 fifth round pick that used to be Colorado's.
Yes.
The Sharks get Andreas Johnson, Fabian Zetterlund, who did not know he was getting traded.
That's always a bummer.
Yeah. Someone asked him if he was part of the trade. He's like, not to my knowledge.
I don't think so.
And then he was. Fabian Zetterlund, Nikita Okayatuk.
Yeah, sure.
And Shakir Mukadamidulin.
Okay. That's not much better than I would do. So
Mukadamidulin.
he has a very long last name.
He seemed, and based on the name, Indian.
Sure.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, and 2023 first round pick.
A 2023 first round pick, which is conditional if they make the. Well, let's. 2023 first round
just
pick.
read- yeah.
And then the
Read all the draft
2024
picks first.
second round pick, which
Is
becomes a
also
first.
conditional.
Comes a first if they make the conference finals within the next 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And Meyer plays 50% of that. And then a seventh round pick from 2024.
Yes. The further conditions are
Oh, the first conditions for the first round pick next year, that's a top 2 pick protected.
I don't think that's going to be an issue, but
It is if they lose the rest of their games the rest of the season.
that would be hilarious if that
Yes.
happened. I really doubt that's going to happen.
It's a possibility.
But it gets pushed to 2024 if that happens, which, again, I doubt.
It's not going to happen, but they also did watch what happened to Florida.
True. And then the conditions on that second, it becomes a first if, like Clay said, they reach the Eastern Conference Finals in the next 2 years, but then they also get shifted if the first condition happens, the second one gets shifted back a year or whatever.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it, but that's really all you need to know.
So basically, the Devils love this trade
Sure.
because they didn't get rid of Mercer, they didn't get rid of Hughes, like a lot of their big prospects.
Well, they were never going to get trade Hughes.
No, but a lot of their big
or
prospects are safe,
or Holtz.
and they got rid of guys who they didn't have room for.
Yeah.
So this is...
I hate the Devils now. They're going to be really good unless they don't mesh well. Fingers crossed.
But yeah, no, this is very good for the Sharks. This is a good trade for the Sharks.
All right. You want to talk about good trades and also confusing trades? Tanner Jeannot from the Nashville Predators was traded to the Tampa Bay Lightning for Cal Foote, who is a young defenseman, son of Adam Foote.
Well, Cal Foote lost his spot to Perbix,
Oh, yeah.
who is a rookie and also the same age as Foote. So
And Nashville does pretty well with defensemen.
Yes.
So Cal Foote, a 2023 third-round pick, a 2023 fourth-round pick, a 2023 fifth-round pick, a 2024 second-round pick, and a 2025 first-round pick, conditional that it is not a top 10 pick.
So I didn't know
I
about that.
assume it gets slid back to 2026.
I didn't know that was the first round pick was in there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
Oh,
know
did
that.
you not know that?
No.
That's why I was like, this is ridiculous.
Actually, no, I did know that. I just thought it was next year's. That's my
2025.
fault. Yeah.
But I don't... I wouldn't think they're going to be in the top 10, but crazier things have happened. They are getting older.
Tampa Bay, they're not really that.
But they are and they aren't.
Tampa Bay said, fuck your picks.
Yeah, they were like, well, they said, fuck our picks.
Oh, yeah. No, fuck the draft. I don't care
they're
about
like,
the
we
draft.
don't care.
And they are very much in a win now mode.
Oh, certainly. I
Which
mean,
is
they've made 3
fair.
straight Stanley Cups.
Exactly.
And they did a similar trade, not at the trade deadline, but they did it last year for Brendan Hagel.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's worked out great.
They just love them some bottom 6 cheap players.
Yep.
They
and
just love
look,
them.
look at what Hagel did.
Yeah,
His
Hagel has
dude.
played pretty well for them. So that's what really worked out. And I'm sure that this is what they think what Tanner Jeannot will do.
Mm-hmm. But they
But-
traded one pick for every goal that Tanner Jeannot has this year.
But this is why we were saying before about Nino Niederreiter, how they only got a second-round pick for Nino Niederreiter, and they got all this for Tanner Jeannot. Now, to be fair, Jeannot is younger, but he does not score nearly as much. But maybe that's not what Tampa Bay wants or needs.
Yep.
So, I don't know. It's just a pretty crazy trade, and we aren't the only ones who think that, because
This is-
apparently a bunch of GMs were like, what is this trade?
What is that? So it's like after Myers, the price of chicken went down. And then after the Jeannot trade, the price of chicken went back up.
Yeah, he's one of the big pieces. The biggest one, I guess?
He's
that's,
the biggest
that's
news
still
that's
out there.
still out there.
God only knows if he gets traded or not. Now, the teams that were in on him aren't in on him anymore. Now there's other teams that are like, why are you in on him?
Right.
Like, so he hasn't been traded. Watch, he'll get traded while we're talking.
Yep. You get this one.
And then,
next one.
okay, Nashville was still not done. They traded good old future considerations for Isaac Ratcliffe
mean,
from the Philadelphia Flyers.
It's like Ottawa never knew him.
Ottawa?
Future considerations.
Oh. Yeah, man, he gets around.
Gets around.
What a journeyman. All right, now let's get to another relatively big trade.
This is a good trade.
Yeah.
The Leafs saw what Tampa did, and they saw what Boston did, and said, "All right, bet."
Okay, yeah. Yeah, bet.
They
Well, they're going to have to play Tampa in the first round.
They
so.
brought in Jake McCabe and Sam Lafferty for Joey Anderson and Pavel Gogliev. Now, the Leafs also got a 2024 fifth and a 2025 fifth that are conditional.
It's the fifth is just the lowest of the ones that Chicago owns.
Right. And then the Blackhawks got a 2025 first and a 2026 second. That first is
a
top
lot.
10 protected.
Yeah. Boy, there's a lot of teams trading like future draft picks. They're like, fuck it, we need to win now.
We're going
yeah,
in
we
now.
need to win now.
And Toronto does. Toronto does.
the-
Dubas's job is on the line.
Oh yeah, if they go out in the first round, Dubas can get fired. So is their coach.
And that's not even necessarily Dubas's fault because this team
Or the
is
coach, really.
very good on paper.
Yeah, and they're having a good season.
And they're just running into buzzsaws of
They're
Tampa.
running into either Tampa or Boston in the playoffs, and it's just
And what do you want?
I mean, they.
Someone's got to
I mean,
lose.
they took Tampa to 7 last
Yes, they
year,
did. And then Vasilevsky became Vasilevsky.
yeah, and then they took Boston to 7 recently as
Both-
well.
both
yeah,
times.
so it's not like they've been very close to beating them. I'm wondering if they do finally make it past one or both of those teams, they're going to win the Stanley Cup. It's like when Washington beat Pittsburgh
They just went on a
that
run.
year, and they were just like, our biggest competition is dead, our
If-
biggest rival is dead, we're going to win the Stanley Cup now.
If Toronto makes it past the first round, everyone else needs to be scared
Yeah,
because they'll be feeling good.
they'll be feeling themselves. Sorry.
And they'll probably be playing either the Devils or Boston. No, based on where they are, it'd be Boston versus second wild card, right?
I don't even know who that. I think it's Buffalo right now. Is the second wild card?
No, it's Pittsburgh.
Is it?
Yeah, it's Pittsburgh.
It'll.
Doesn't matter.
It's really close. There's like 4 teams fighting for those 2 spots.
with Pittsburgh's win over the Kings, they took it back.
I mean, Tampa Bay.
Yes, sorry.
Anyway, and then our final trade
I got it.
so far,
Which
Clay,
just happened.
which just happened like 5 minutes before we started.
Buffalo got Riley Stillman for Josh Bloom. This is kind of an AHLer, kind of
An
like
AHLer
bubble.
for a bottom pairing defenseman, essentially, or a depth defenseman, depending on how you look at Riley Stillman.
Yeah. Buffalo has a little bit of an injury problem right now. A little bit of an injury bug, so they just need some depth defense to make sure
That's not bad. I mean, Josh Bloom is like just a whatever younger guy. Maybe they didn't need him, I guess.
Yep.
So they got Riley Stillman for cheap.
Yeah.
And I think I saw one. The Buffalo GM gave an interview that was like, you know what? I mean, I know we're close, but we don't need to be selling the farm just to make the playoffs.
They're
right
not.
now.
Yeah, they're not. Gonna,
Which I think is a correct answer,
very much so. Like
because they still might make the playoffs regardless. So,
right. They weren't expecting to be this close this year.
Yeah.
They're happy they are.
Yeah, I mean, they might fall off the last month or 2 of the year, or they might make the playoffs.
Right.
You know, and then who knows? Maybe they upset somebody. We never know with younger teams.
Them making the playoffs is only a win.
That's a win. Yeah,
even if
that's
they,
successful.
even if they get swept by Boston, which Boston they won't, because one, that's a divisional and they match up well against Boston.
You never know.
If they play the Canes, I do think they get swept.
It's always hard to tell with the playoffs though, because
Or at least
you
in
would
5.
you would have said the same thing, Tampa Bay against Columbus, and then Columbus swept them because they
That's
had way
true.
too much confidence going into it.
That's true. It's more how Carolina matches up against Buffalo's weaknesses. Like
That's fair.
their
That's
strengths
fair.
are Buffalo's weaknesses.
That's fair. Yeah.
But yeah, no. If they make the playoffs, that's just experience for the young guys.
Yeah,
And that's
absolutely. That's a
only
victory.
win.
That is
only a win.
That is a success. Making the playoffs for Buffalo, successful season.
Yep.
There's a lot of teams that would not be true for, but young team like Buffalo only wins in that case. So let's talk
About hockey.
about the games that happened this week. I believe I'm going first,
Yes, you are.
and we're going to start with the Metropolitan Division.
I hate this division. It's the
I hate it too.
Worst division in hockey.
Yeah, man, I hate it too. The Carolina Hurricanes went 2-1 this week, 11 for 11 on the penalty kill. They beat St. Louis, which isn't that hard to do, 4-1.
Not right now.
Svechnikov had 2 goals and an assist. Jarvis, a goal and 2 assists. Aho, a goal and an assist. And Freddie Anderson
the other
had
Jarvis.
35 of 36.
The other Jarvis, his brother, just got traded earlier. Remember?
What did I say? Is his
No,
name
you're
not
right.
Seth Jarvis?
No, you're right. But remember, the first trade for Mayo was his brother. Like
Jay Weber?
shit.
What
Not
are you
the first.
talking about?
Bring up. Never mind. Doesn't
What are
matter.
you talking about?
I'm drunk.
How?
I'm not, but
What are you talking about?
so I'm thinking of Slavin. Same team. Same team.
Anyway, Carolina then followed that win up by shutting out Ottawa 4-0.
Yes, they did.
Svechnikov and Aho each had 2 assists in that game, while Antti Ranta made 32 saves for the shutout. They lost to Anaheim to
Yes, they
finish
did.
off the week 3-2, where they outshot Anaheim 53-16.
Oh, they gave him another shot.
53-16. Oh,
My-
did you
my
have
stats
it
were
marked at
15.
something up? Ay. So, in either direction, 3 goals on 15 or 16 shots is not good.
No, it's not.
Freddie Anderson. So that's just one of those games where every
is it
once in a while,
Anderson or is it their defense?
I don't know. I think they just had like a fart of a game. But they had 53 shots.
I know.
I mean, you can't even say that. It's just like a.
No.
I didn't watch the game, unfortunately, but like, I don't know what happened to this game. Svechnikov is their top player of the week with 2 goals and 3 assists. Pretty good week for him.
Yes.
Columbus had a respectful 1-1-1 record this week.
Mm-hmm.
Their power play and penalty kill was nothing to talk about. They got shut out by Minnesota 2-0 to begin the week, where they won 71% of the faceoffs in that game.
Jesus Christ.
And did not score.
Ah,
They then beat Edmonton 6-5.
that was a crazy game.
That was a crazy game because if I remember correctly, and I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit for you, but didn't McDavid have like 4 points in
Yes,
this
he
game?
did.
And they lost.
Yep.
Because I saw somebody tweet like another 4-point game for Connor McDavid, and Edmonton lost
Yep.
to Columbus.
Yep.
The worst team in the league.
Kind of right now, yeah.
Oh, Edmonton's another team that hasn't really
They have
done
not.
anything yet.
No, they have not.
Edmonton outshot Columbus in this game 47-26.
I'm glad you're saying a lot of these because I have a lot of these written down too.
Oh, do you? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No. I'm actually, again, we have a lot to talk about. It's going to be a good time.
Will we break 3 hours?
No.
Jack Roslovic had 2 goals, 2 assists for Columbus in that game, while Patrick Laine had a goal and 2 assists. And Marchenko had 2 goals. He's having a good season
Yes,
for
he is.
Columbus, Marchenko is. So I think Laine is not having a bad season either. Columbus then finished off the week by losing to Minnesota again, but this time in overtime, 3-2.
It was overtime, yeah. You got a loser point.
We're outshot 44-24 in this game. Merzlikins tried his best, making 41 of 44 saves.
Yes.
He did his best. They don't have a top player. Most of their scoring was kind of spread out. Nobody really had
Right.
over a point per game, even if I don't even know if they had a point per game. Oh, Roslovic did, but all of his points were in one game.
Right.
So, New Jersey is up next, going 2-1 this week. They lost to Montreal to
Yep.
start the week.
Got stomped by Montreal.
They did, but they outshot Montreal 40-18.
Yes, they did.
This is not like. Why is that a weird stat through line this week? Because
It's-
there's at least one more game like that.
It's through my entire,
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I think I have at least one more game that's like that, where one team outshot the other by like a very wide margin and lost.
I mean, a lot of our teams kind of
They
played
played each other, yeah, a
but
lot this
some
week.
of them didn't.
Jack Hughes had 2 assists, so he assisted on both goals
Yep.
for New Jersey in that game. New Jersey then beat LA 4-3 in overtime. Dawson Mercer, who's having a great year for
Yes,
New
he
Jersey.
did. Mercer was who they were worried was going to San Jose.
Worked out. 2 goals and an assist in this game, including the overtime game winner. Thomas Tater
Good old Tater.
had a goal and an assist, while Dougie Hamilton had 2 assists. And then New Jersey just walked out there, walked across the river to Philadelphia, and just beat the Flyers into the ground, beating them 7-0. And just smashed their face into the ground.
Didn't see this game at all.
7-0.
Woof.
Siegenthaler had a goal and 2 assists in this game. Schmid made 23 saves
Schmid?
for the win. I forget what his first name is.
I want to say it's Willie.
It's not.
I know.
I think it's like Alexander or Alec or something
I don't
like that.
care. Willie Schmid is a great
Willie
name.
Schmid. Who was that? There was a baseball player. It was Willie something, and my dad loved it because his name was ridiculous.
Look,
He played for Cincinnati. I can't remember what his
no
name
one's
was.
better than Coco Crisp.
Coco Crisp is an excellent name. There's some real fun names in baseball. Oh man,
And he was good.
Willie. Oh man, what was it? Maybe it was Willie Moe something. Anyway, Nico Hischier and Jack Hughes each had 2 points in this game as well. Otherwise, the scoring was kind of spread out in that game. Willie Moe Pena, that was his name. Willie Moe Pena. He loved that his name was Willie Moe.
That is a good name.
Dawson Mercer and Jack Hughes each are their top players. Mercer, 4 goals and an assist this week, while Hughes had a goal and 4 assists this week. I wonder if they play on the same line.
I wonder.
Moving on to the Islanders, who had a pretty good week, 3-1.
They need that week.
They needed that. They beat Pittsburgh 4-2, where Pittsburgh outshot them 46-32. Brock Nelson, who always scores against the Penguins,
Always.
had 2 goals in this game. Bo Horvat had a goal and an assist, and Zach Parise had 2 assists. They then beat Winnipeg in a very close game, 2-1. Sorokin, 25 of 26 saves in that game. They then lost a pretty close game to LA, 3-2. They were outshot by LA 28-18. That's not a lot of shots, just in general.
LA held on.
Yeah.
They went up 3-0 and they held on.
Oh, really? Sorokin, 26 of 28. He did his best. Varlamov got the shutout against Winnipeg, though.
Yes.
4-0, the Islanders in that game. Varlamov, I know I said that in a weird order.
It's funny that they played Winnipeg twice. Beat
They
them both
did,
times.
yeah. That's that happened with Columbus and Minnesota too.
I think that's both of their games.
Yeah,
Against.
So 4-0 against Winnipeg. Varlamov 23 saves, scoring very much spread out there. Sorokin is their top player of the week though, 2-1 with a 168 goals against and a 950 save percentage.
Wow.
The Rangers did not have a good week at
not.
all. Where is that Vladdy Tarasenko? Where is he?
He's not scoring.
Where is he? Don't worry, Patrick Kane's coming. They went 1-3 this week. What was that?
I don't care.
I say Patrick Kane's kind of washed. I mean, he's on a really bad Chicago team, but
This past week, he's really turned it up, and they're just like, I need to
But he has a
play.
lingering hip injury, apparently. Whatever. At some point this week, he's going to get traded to the Rangers.
I'm not saying he's washed, but I'm not saying
He's not. He's not his original self.
He's not the Patrick Kane of 5 years ago.
No. So anyway, the Rangers went 1-3 this week. They were 2 for 15 on the power play, and 7 for 11 on the penalty kill.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt you.
Losing to Winnipeg 4-1, where the Rangers outshot Winnipeg 51-21.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and
Jesus
lost
Christ.
4-1. They then lost 4-1.
I think the Carolina Anaheim one's worse. So the 53-15.
Yeah, no, that's worse, but this one's pretty bad too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Detroit then beat the Rangers 4-1 as well.
Detroit was red hot.
The Rangers then lost to Washington 6-3.
Embarrassing.
Chris Kreider had a goal and an assist in this game, while Mika Zibanejad had 2 assists in this game. And then they finally broke their week-long losing streak by beating LA 5-2.
This was a statement game. I watched this game.
Yeah, this was them being like, okay, we're fine.
And I mean, this one, it's kind of puck luck. That game was kind of puck luck, kind of like.
I mean, you got
defensive
to
lapses.
be good. You got to be lucky too.
No, but also
especially in hockey.
defensive lapses by the Kings.
Yeah, because pucks can just bounce wherever. Sometimes you can try your best to bounce a puck off a board right to your teammate, and it just doesn't work. Anyway, Vinny Trocheck had 2 goals and an assist in this game, while Zibanejad and Panarin each had a goal and an assist.
He was very close to the hat trick.
Trocheck?
Yeah.
Panarin, I believe, with that goal, broke a 10-game no-goal streak for him. And Adam Fox had 2 assists. They don't have a top player this week, because that was a pretty bad performance by them, because it was on the same level as the Philadelphia Flyers, who also went 1-3.
Well, that's expected.
Yeah, that's not surprising for the Flyers. Don't look at my notes. What do you think their power play was?
What their power play was?
Yeah.
3 for 10?
Their power play was -1 for 7.
Oof.
Because they did not score. And Ruth, they're not here to see you. Sorry. She thinks when people come in the front door that they're absolutely coming to see her.
No.
It's only true for very specific people.
Yep.
They did not score on the power play this week and gave up a shorthanded goal. So -1 for 7 was Philadelphia, and they were 8 for 11 on the penalty
You
kill.
see, I thought with their scoreline it'd be like a surprisingly good
Nope.
power play. Nope.
Nope.
All right,
Shockingly bad.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. That's my
Shockingly
fault.
bad.
That's my fault.
Philly started off their week strong, beating Calgary 4-3.
Mm-hmm.
They were outshot 35-22 in this game.
It's not that hard. Sorry.
No, Calgary's not having a great year, but they're better than Philly though.
You're right.
Konechny had a goal and an assist in this game. D'Angelo had a goal and an assist in this game, and Lawton had 2 assists. And then it was all downhill from there, losing to Edmonton 4-2, where they were 2 for 4 in the penalty kill. Carter Hart did his best, 23 of 26 in
He
this
always
game.
does his best.
He's playing fine. It's not. None of this
He's
is
not
his
the
fault.
problem.
No. Then they lost to Montreal 5-2, where Morgan Frost had 2 assists. So a little bit of silver lining to these games.
Yep.
And then, of course, they lost to New Jersey 7-0 to
Yes.
finish off the week. Do you think they have a top player?
No, I don't.
No, they don't.
I don't.
No. Pittsburgh is up next, going 2-2 this week. The tale of two halves of the week, pretty much. They started off the week by losing to the Islanders 4-2. I already mentioned that game. Not much to say from Pittsburgh in that one. And then they got annihilated by Edmonton 7-2.
Yeah, they didn't.
They were outshot 44-24 in this game by Edmonton, 1 for 3 on the penalty kill. Chris Letang scored both goals.
Oh, that's
And
good.
Evgeny Malkin assisted on both goals.
that's
So,
good.
slight silver lining
Yeah.
there for them. But hey, Pittsburgh waived Kasperi Kapanen, who was taken by St. Louis. And apparently he was the problem because they beat St. Louis 3-2 in overtime. In their next game, outshooting St. Louis 48-27. Jordan Binnington did everything he possibly could to keep them in this game.
After the first period, it was like shots were 26-9.
9 or something like
Yes.
that. Yeah, it was really bad. Malkin and Pedersen each had a goal and an assist in this game.
Yep.
While Brian Rust had the overtime game winner, plus an assist as well.
We'll talk about St. Louis when you get to that.
Yeah, they're really bad.
Yeah.
Then Pittsburgh finished off the week by probably a pretty surprising game, stomping Tampa Bay.
I'm actually not that surprised.
I think Pittsburgh matches up apparently very well against Tampa Bay.
One-
it seems like.
They were coming off that embarrassment from Edmonton, and
Yeah.
then they
They just squeaked out a win against a really bad St. Louis team.
right. So they're pissed.
It was at home for Pittsburgh, but if I remember correctly, the first game of the year for Pittsburgh was against Tampa Bay too, and I think they won. Don't hit your mic. And I think they won by a similar score. It might have been 6-3 or 6-2 or something like that. But they beat the snot out of Tampa at the beginning of the year too.
Based on Tampa's game before Pittsburgh, this doesn't surprise me at all.
No.
No.
Oh, okay. But I'm just saying that it's happened twice now, and I believe they play again this week. So we'll see.
So the difference between the game before their Pittsburgh game
Uh-huh.
and the Pittsburgh game, the difference is Elliott was in net against Pittsburgh.
That was certainly part of the problem, but Tampa Bay was essentially unraveling in front of him too. They were not playing good defense. They could not keep the puck in the Pittsburgh end. There was times where at the first
They
period
played the same way against Detroit, but Vasilevsky was in net.
I see. In the first period, after the first period, Tampa Bay was actually up 2-1, and I was like, okay, well,
Yeah.
this is a back and forth game, because obviously I was watching this game. Pittsburgh could come back.
All 7 goals in the second period?
No.
Or
It was 2-1 after the first, and then Pittsburgh scored 6 goals in the
there
second
it is.
period.
I said after the second. I asked if they were all scored in the second.
And I said no. It
Right.
was 2-1 after the first.
So 6 goals in the second period. That's all you need to say.
Get the cheese out of your ears, boy, and listen to me.
I'm excited for how I'm organizing my teams now. I was already organized.
God.
Excited.
Jesus. So yes, Pittsburgh scored 6 unanswered in the second period. Tampa Bay added 1 in the third, but the game was over.
Yeah, no.
Tampa Bay was just like they didn't know.
6 goals. In
They didn't
the
know what to
second
do.
period.
Well, it was they were quick goals too, because
Yeah.
it was 2-1 for a bit. Malkin took a dumb penalty like he does.
Yeah, it's Malkin.
And then he came out of the box, got a breakaway, and scored to tie the game. And then it just opened the floodgates from there. Yeah. So it's like I said, the tale of 2 weeks. Like a pretty close game against the Islanders, where Pittsburgh controlled for like half the game, and then,
Turned off. Yeah.
turned it off. And then they got smushed by Edmonton, and then a game that they controlled for pretty much the entire game, and it just went to overtime against St. Louis, and then a game that they stomped Tampa Bay. So,
Yes.
like the duality of the Pittsburgh Penguins this week. Finishing off with the Central, the Washington Capitals,
Yep.
1-3 this week. Losing to Detroit 3-1. Not much to say about that.
Nope.
Losing to Anaheim 4-2.
Anaheim might beat Carolina.
They outshot Anaheim, much like Carolina, 43-21.
Yeah, that's a trend. Don't worry about that.
Washington, hey, they then beat their rivals, one of their rivals in the New York Rangers.
Only win I cared about.
Hell yeah. 6-3. Kuznetsov, 2 goals, 2 assists. Oshie, 2 goals and an assist. Wilson, a goal and an assist. And Ovi and Gustafsson each had 2 assists.
Yep.
Then Washington lost a pretty bad game to Buffalo, 7-4.
Buffalo was wearing the black coat heads.
They were using their
Yep.
magic.
Their devil magic.
Their
yes.
devil magic, yes. Strome had a goal and an assist in this game. Oshie a goal and an assist. And Nick Jensen, right?
Yes.
Had 2 assists in this game. Oshie is their top player this week. It's nice to see.
Yeah.
4 goals, 2 assists.
He had a Gordie Howe hat trick against the Rangers.
God, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love Gordie Howe hat-trick. Oh, I forgot to mention it with the Rangers, but in that LA game, inadvertent or not, Keandre Miller did spit on Drew Doughty.
Yes.
Now, I don't think he meant to do it just
No.
from watching the video, but it was just, I think he just made a dumb and spit when he really shouldn't have. Because hockey players spit all the time.
They spit. Athletes spit all the time.
And he just, for
Kinda
some
gross.
reason, spit while he was looking at Drew Doughty in the face. And I think it hit his visor from what I saw in the video.
He got a
And
5
he
minute.
he got a major and a game misconduct and got kicked out of the game and a hearing.
Yes.
So we're waiting on, I'm sure he's going to get suspended. But we don't know for how long yet.
Lindgren got hurt in the Capitals game.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're down to 4 defensemen.
Uh-oh.
Especially if he gets, suspended for a couple of games.
For a few games, yeah.
Which also might hurt their chances for getting Kane, cap-wise.
Maybe. I don't know. They're
They'll-
juggling a bunch of...
They'll be able to make some moves and make it happen.
They're
but
juggling a bunch of things.
It'd be very funny.
They're doing a bunch of weird paper... It's called paper transactions where
They
they
might-
send a guy to the minors, but they don't actually send him to the minors.
They might roll with 15 guys for a game.
So stupid.
I agree.
It's so dumb. All right, what you got? Who you starting
All
with?
right, I'm starting with the Pacific.
All right.
And
What weird abstract way are you?
you picked this order last week.
What did I say?
You said reverse alphabetical mascot names.
Oh my god.
When I said East-West. So here we go.
I should stop challenging you about
Very
this.
funny because it started out with Anaheim for the Pacific.
Mm-hmm.
Started out with Anaheim, so I was going to go with that. And then surprise you with San Jose afterwards. But we got Wild Wing,
Wild Wing.
who's up first for Anaheim. Anaheim went 2-1-1.
They beat 2 pretty good. Well, they beat Carolina and Washington.
And the overtime loss was against Florida. It was very close.
Yeah.
They are at 60 games played,
Mm-hmm.
19, 34, and 7. That's 45 points. They're last.
Yeah.
I'm going to go right out.
You know they're not going to win the Connor, but you know they're not going to.
I'm going to skip these games right now real quick and just talk about their
Okay.
top player.
Okay.
Their top player is Jonathan Gibson.
Mm.
Played 3 of the 4 games. He went 2-0-1.
Yeah.
He had a 2.67 goals against average,
Okay. It's not that bad.
a 9.47 save percentage, saving
really good.
143 out of 151 shots.
He was averaging 50 shots against a game.
3 games.
Oh my god. That poor boy. He should get traded to the Penguins.
This week, it looked like he decided to stop fucking around. He said, come and get me. To
Somebody,
some
please,
team,
somebody
he's
come
just like,
and get
you know
me.
what, I'm done, come and get me.
4th round pick, 50% retained. Pittsburgh will take him. You
And-
can have Casey DeSmith.
Put on a clinic.
Yeah, for real.
Because-
That's an impressive
All right,
week.
we'll start. Florida, 3-4 overtime loss. Gibson, 51 for 55. 9-7. They were outshot 55-32. Tampa Bay.
At least they put up 32 in that game.
Yes, they did. And then Tampa Bay, Dostal was in net, so we'll come back to that. Washington, Gibson was.
So we're just gonna ignore that game.
Yeah, it was 1-6.
Yeah,
Dostal was in net.
Makes sense.
Yeah, 3 for 5 on the penalty kill. They were outshot 44-25. Washington 4-2 win. Bert talked about that. Gibson 41 for 43, outshot 43-21. Fowler had 2 assists.
Hey,
Carolina, Gibson again 51 for 53, outshot 53-15. Terry had a goal. And yeah, so what seems to be the problem? I think you know. They were 11 for 14 on the penalty kill. That's actually not
that's
bad.
not bad. That's not too bad
them.
for a team as bad as them. That's actually pretty respectable.
So yeah, John Gibson said, "Come and save me."
Somebody come and get me.
And showed why.
And what better team to come and save him than his hometown Pittsburgh Penguins?
I agree, but they don't have anything.
Casey DeSmith and a 3rd-round pick for 50% retained.
Okay, yeah.
Take them.
That's why you're a GM for Anaheim.
Yeah, if I was the GM for Anaheim, I'd be like, I'm going to make Pittsburgh better.
Yeah, right?
I'm a secret agent.
All right, next up is San Jose because their mascot is Sharky.
That's not very imaginative.
It's not.
Yeah.
And we've talked about all these mascots
Oh, yeah, we
before,
have. That's
so
true. Yeah, with
I
Jenny.
just have to name them.
Right, it was with Jenny, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sharky.
Should have her on again soon.
Sharky and his team were 1-1-1 this week. San Jose has played 60 games. They are 18-30-12. That's 1 win less than Anaheim.
That's incredible. I didn't realize San Jose was that bad.
Yeah,
I knew they were bad.
they're not getting better with getting rid of Meyer.
No, not at all.
They have 48 points, so they're in 7th. They started their week by shutting out Seattle. Reimer was 4-0. Reimer was 26 for 26. Svechnikov, the other Svechnikov,
The other one.
had a goal and assist in that game.
Andrei Svechnikov, I think.
Yes.
No. I'm
Andrei's
sorry. Andrei is the
is
one
Carolina.
on Carolina. Evgeny Svechnikov
Yes,
is the
sorry.
other one.
There it is.
That's my bad.
Then they lost to Nashville 2-6. They got a shorthanded goal,
Sweet.
but they gave up 1-2.
Oh,
And they were also 1 for 3 on the penalty kill.
sweet.
Not a
Pretty
game
good.
for them.
That's pretty good.
And then they lost to Chicago in a shootout.
Yes, they did.
Kokkonen did the best he could. Nico Sturm had 2 assists. I don't really have much to say about them. They don't get a top player.
Yeah, they're bad.
Yeah, they're bad. They should feel bad.
I mean, Anaheim is also bad, but they had a weird week, so it's worth talking about.
Edmonton's up next.
Edmonds.
We go from Wild Wing to Sharky to their Lynx Hunter.
I forgot a Lynx was their mascot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes to
I
Hunter.
guess I wouldn't know what an
We
oiler
go from
is.
S to H. It's crazy.
Huh.
Nothing
Oh,
in
yeah,
between.
that is a big jump.
All right, they've also played 60 games. 32, 20, and 8. They have 72
They
points.
couldn't name the Lynx like Lenny or something, being with an L.
Hey, man, there's a lot
Come
of
on.
bad mascots
Alliteration.
out there.
Lenny the Lynx.
Next up is Harvey, so from Calgary with his long tongue. So don't worry, they're fine. Edmonton is fine.
Or Steve the Lynx.
Um,
Doug the Lynx.
Oily.
Oily the Lynx. He's just Oily the oil droplet.
Right.
Yeah. It's like a Rick and Morty character.
Yeah, basically.
Like, oh, I'm oily. Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry. Talk about Edmonton.
They're in 3rd. They beat Philadelphia at home. Then they went on a metro trip. Bert talked about all these games.
Oh, yeah.
4-2 win against Philadelphia. The 7-2 win against Pittsburgh. Skinner was in net for both of these. The first game, Draisaitl had a goal and 2 assists. In the second game, McDavid had 2 goals and 2 assists. Also,
Yeah, big week.
both McDavid and Draisaitl hit their 800th and 700th career point, respectively,
It's great.
against.
Depth on their team is really bad, though.
Yeah. Bert talked about how they outshot him, and then that 5-6 loss to Columbus, where
Columbus.
Campbell was in net. Started the game in net.
Boy, that signing's looking pretty bad, huh?
He was 10 for 14.
Yep.
He had a good couple of weeks, but this is his first stinker in a while.
Yeah.
They gave. No, they got shorthanded. That's my bad. McDavid had another 4-point game, 2 goals and 2 assists. 5 for 11 on the power play.
I get it, Connor. Calm down.
Yes, 5 for 11 on the power play.
I
Adjusted,
understand.
they were perfect on the penalty kill
Yeah.
because they got 2 shorthandeds over the week.
Yeah.
McDavid's, of course, their top player. We get it.
We get it.
He had 6 goals, 5 assists, whatever.
Here's the thing, though.
I had to go to Tyson Berry at 5 points, who was the next highest.
Closest? Really?
With,
Not even Draisaitl?
Skipping
other
Draisaitl.
than those two.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I mean, Connor McDavid is obviously...
Draisaitl had 8, I believe, and then Tyson Berry had 5.
He's obviously the best player in the league.
Yeah.
Connor McDavid is. But I think, as much as I've been accused of hating Edmonton by some people, it really shows that hockey is a team sport.
Yeah.
That he has all of these points. He has 100 points. He has over 100 points already.
Yep.
And he had 11 points this week. They're still not. Edmonton's not like that good.
No.
Like they're still probably going to get bounced. They might make the second round of the playoffs,
Yeah.
but I bet they get bounced somewhere in there.
Their
defense, their depth, their defense, and their goaltending is very questionable.
Unfortunately, with how the West is, they're either going
you said they're in third place?
Yes. They're either going to
Vegas or LA.
Yeah. LA's defense is not that good.
They could probably beat LA.
Over a 7-game series.
But if they face Vegas, I don't know. The West isn't that strong this year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
maybe they could maybe get it to the Western Conference Finals.
I can see them going to the finals. I can even see them going to the Stanley Cup Finals.
I don't think they're going to beat whoever comes out of the East.
Don't
though.
think they're
no,
gonna beat
because whoever comes out of the East is going to be one of Boston or Carolina or maybe New Jersey.
Yeah.
They're not going to be one of those 3 teams.
Or
even say those teams get knocked out. Say it's Toronto or Tampa Bay. Still not. Maybe Toronto. They're not going to beat Tampa Bay.
I don't see them beating Toronto if Toronto makes it to the finals.
I think Toronto will be supercharged if they make it to the finals. Yeah.
Yeah.
But say they face the war veteran Tampa Bay team. They're gonna get smacked.
Oh my God!
Not the Pittsburgh game notwithstanding for Tampa Bay, they're having a great season, and they've been to 3 straight Stanley Cup Finals. So
they're tired, but they know what it takes to get there.
I wouldn't be shocked if they make another one, honestly, because watch them beat Toronto, watch them beat Boston, in the second round.
All right, we're gonna move on to Calgary. We said Harvey, the wolf.
No, is he a wolf?
He's a wolf. He's some sort of or husky, but he's got the really long tongue.
I thought he was like a Burmese mountain dog.
No, he's like a husky.
There's another mascot that's a mountain dog.
That is the Saint Bernard of Colorado.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Calgary 1-2-1 this week. 60 games played. 27, 21, and 12. 66 points.
Those loser points are keeping them in it.
It's
12
the only
points.
thing
Good
keeping them in it. They're in 5th right now.
Because otherwise, they're 6 games under 500.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
Losing to Philadelphia 3-4. Then they beat Arizona 6-3. They outshot Arizona 51-14.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. I forgot about that.
At a certain point in the first period, Arizona was winning 3-0 on 9 shots.
That's so terrible.
They had to battle back to beat Arizona.
Oh my God. It's so weird how often that happens though, right?
Yeah.
Because how many games have we already what is this, 6 games that we've already mentioned that one team outshot the other team by a very wide margin and lost.
But this team actually won, but they had to battle back to do it.
It's just so weird how that happens in hockey sometimes. Every once in a while, something like that happens in football, too. Right. And the only reason I say this, not to derail us, there was a game many years ago where Pittsburgh played the Texans in their first or second year. The Steelers outgained the Texans 500 yards to 97.
The Texans were so bad.
The Texans won by like 30 points.
That's crazy.
Because the Steelers threw like 3 picks or fumbled a bunch or something, and they just like
That's it.
shit the bed in that game. But like you look at the stat line, and you're like, how did you
How'd
lose
you do
this
that?
bad? You
All
know,
right. In the Philadelphia loss, Backlund had a goal and an assist. Arizona win.
you should talk into your mic.
You should shut the hell up. Lindholm had a goal and assist in the Arizona win. Vegas, they lost in overtime. Backlund had another goal and assist. This is not looking good for their penalty kill. 1 for 2 on the penalty kill in Arizona, 1 for 2 against Vegas, and then they lost to Colorado 4-1.
Mm-hmm.
Markstrom was not looking good in that one either. 5 for 15 on the power play, 7 for 10 on the penalty kill. It's not good. Not that good either one.
No, not at all.
But Michael Backlund is their top player with 3 goals and 2 assists.
Yeah, he had a pretty good week.
It's not looking good for Calgary.
No, but the West is like wide open. Honestly, they could squeak into the playoffs if they had a couple pretty good weeks.
I don't see it.
No,
I don't see it.
It could happen. They're not that far out of it, right?
They're not that far out of it.
Because there's some teams in the Central who have certainly given up
Seattle owns it with
the wild card spots.
yeah.
Well, I'm only saying that because clearly St. Louis and Nashville have given up
They've given up.
on the season, which fair. So they're not going to be trying to compete that hard.
Oh man, Calgary might even be in the wild card spot. Who's fourth in?
I don't know.
All right, doesn't matter.
Off the top of my head. I can look it up, Doc.
Vancouver and Finley, the Orca, 1-1-1.
I didn't know his name was Finley.
Yep,
It's funny.
59 games.
He's an Irish orca.
59 games played, 32, 21, and 5, 51 points. That's 6th in the division. They lost to Nashville in a shootout. Then they beat St. Louis in overtime. Then they lost to Boston in a very close game.
Winnipeg is the other wild card.
Okay,
right now.
there it is. Kuzmenko had 2 goals in the Nashville loss. Pedersen has a goal and 2 assists in the St. Louis win, and then Besser had a goal in the Boston loss. Pedersen decided to win the game himself against St. Louis. Very much so.
He's their only untouchable.
Pedersen had 1 goal and 3 assists. I don't have a lot to say about them. Kuzmenko's doing very well.
He is. He has 25 goals, 26 goals now, I think.
Silovs is playing all right. He's kind of taken over as the starter from Delia.
What a mess.
Right,
Vancouver has become.
they don't have a good goalie because
Yeah.
Demko's hurt. Excuse me. They're
Won't talk into the mic. Won't cough into the mic.
right into it. They, and they're looking. They might be talking about trading Demko. Like, who knows?
there has been speculation about that, but they'll have to eat part of his contract, right?
I mean, maybe. But
Isn't he like one of those $5 million contracts?
Yeah.
Goalies. I mean, it's not that bad, but for let's say a contending team is like, yo, we want Demko, but you have to retain. Like, you just got to think of it like the cap is still basically what it was last year, and it's gonna continue to not be that high next year.
All right, Vegas 1-0 and 2 this week. Every single game went to overtime or a shootout.
Gross.
Chance is their mascot, the Gila Monster.
The Gila Monster.
They had 59 games played, 35, 18, and
We saw a
76.
Gila Monster yesterday.
Yes,
we went
did.
to a zoo.
They lost in a shootout to Chicago. They beat Calgary in overtime, and then they lost in another shootout to Dallas. Brossoit was in net for all 3 games. He tried his best. He really did.
Who's their other goalie? Oh, Aiden Hill.
Aiden Hill.
I think I've asked that a few times now.
Brossoit had, and he's back from injury. He was 9.49, 8.93, and then 9.53. And his better games, they lost in the shootout.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Eichel is their top player with 3 goals and 1 assist. So maybe it was a good idea.
He's waking back up.
Maybe it was a good idea that Cassidy called him out.
Maybe that's what he needs. Maybe he needs that tough love.
They were 9 for 11 on the penalty kill.
That's not bad.
Needs to be better.
It's
all
not
right.
great, but 9 for 11. That's like 85% or something. That's not bad. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
That's not that bad.
It's just one of those. You see,
I just hate Vegas.
I hate Vegas. I don't, but they're all right.
Look at that cute dog.
Seattle had a bad week, going 0 for 3. As
Boo.
bad as
Come
their
on,
mascot,
Seattle.
Bowie. You were saying Bowie.
I had forgotten about Bowie until just this moment.
They've played 59 games, 32, 21, and 6, 70 points. That is good for 4th. So that's that wild card.
And they have the second
wild
wild
card
card spot right now.
Getting shut out by San Jose to start the week. Then they lost to Boston in a very close game, 6-5, and then they got stomped by Toronto.
Stomped.
Matty Beniers had a goal and an assist in the Boston loss. Perfect on the penalty kill. 4 for 4, that's what you want. They don't have a top player. They don't.
I mean, going 0-3, it's hard to have a top player.
You only scored 6 goals in
3 games.
3 games, and then 5 of them were in 1.
Yeah.
You don't have a top player.
Yeah.
Finishing up with Los Angeles, 1-2-1. That's not what they want. Bailey is their mascot, the Lion.
Oh, right, he's a lion.
61 games played, 33 wins, 20 losses, and 8 overtime losses. They have 74 points. They are currently in second. They are on the road right now. All these games were away. The 1-2 loss to Minnesota. 3-4 overtime loss to the Devils. 3-2 win. Again, I mentioned earlier, they held on against the Islanders, and then losing pretty bad to the Rangers. Quick was 4 for 7 to start that game.
That's bad.
That's bad.
That's really bad. Yeah.
Anze Kopitar had a goal and assist in the New Jersey Devils loss, and then Gabe Vladar had a goal, had what ended up being the game-winning goal against the Islanders. They don't have a top player either.
Velarde. Gabe Velarde.
Yes.
Not Vladar. He's on Calgary.
Yeah, I got that confused. It even says Velarde. All right, I got a good amount of
I didn't have many
news.
injuries this week.
So
Couple bad ones, but
Adam Henrique for the Ducks is week to week with a lower body.
It's a bummer.
Yes, it's not good for the Ducks.
I wanted him to be traded to the Penguins too.
Not good for the Ducks at all. For Calgary, Stone went to the IR with an undisclosed injury. Evander Kane is day-to-day with an upper body. He missed all of this past week.
Does it have to do with his wrist?
I don't think it does.
It's just something else.
It's just something else.
Okay.
But he
Well,
missed.
that's good because I saw that and I was like, I hope something doesn't happen with his wrist.
Listed as day-to-day, but he missed all of this past week.
Okay.
Trevor Moore is day-to-day with an upper body as well. I believe he missed all of this past week. And then Vancouver's got a lot. It looks like I missed this last week. Ekman Larson and Curtis Lazar went both to the IR for lower bodies. It happened on the 15th, but didn't show up when I looked before.
Happens.
Ethan Bear is on the IR with an upper body, and then Shen is being held out right now. It's Luke Shen, right?
Yeah, it's Luke Shen.
Trade related.
Yeah.
Yep.
Braden Shen, his brother is. I assume his brother is on St. Louis.
They're brothers. Yes.
They're trying to trade Luke Shen to someone who needs depth defense.
And someone will take him.
So, yeah, somebody will. As far as I know, not Boston. Tampa Bay was looking
Yes.
at him because he was on Tampa Bay, I think, the last few years. So they were like, maybe we get him back.
Yeah, and he's been around.
He's a long-time defenseman in the league. But up next, we're going to talk about the Central Division. Starting with the Arizona Coyotes, as we always do. They went 0-2 this week.
Always do. Boring.
Yeah. Well, I'm the rock. I'm the stability, while you're the chaotic evil of the. I sing beautifully. You hate it.
You go off on tangents.
I don't know what you're talking about. The Arizona Coyotes went 0-2 this week. What do you think their penalty kill was? Don't look at my notes.
I wasn't
I
looking
saw
at
your
notes.
I saw your eyes go to my notes.
Their
What do you think?
penalty-
They had 8 penalty kills. How many do you think they successfully killed off?
4.
3.
Wow.
Now, to be fair, they did get a shorthanded goal.
Yes.
3
So adjusted, I was right.
adjusted 4 for 8. Reality 3 for 8.
Woof.
They lost to Calgary 6-3, where they were outshot 51-14.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. Did you say that? I can't. remember. Yeah, you did. I'm sorry. Hey, Clayton Keller had a goal and an assist in that game.
Again, they were
silver lining.
3 goals on 9 shots. to start.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. I'm sorry. Yes. And then they lost to Nashville, who's essentially given up on the season 6-2.
Oof.
But Arizona has essentially also given up on the
And
season.
and Nashville didn't have Niederreiter. They
Nope.
didn't have Johnson. They
Nope.
didn't have Forsberg.
Nope. None of those guys played.
Nope.
6-2.
Oof.
Yeah, they were 1 for 3 on the penalty kill in that game.
Was Janot out at that point?
Maybe.
I think
He doesn't score a lot, though.
Yeah, but-
He's a bottom 6 guy. Nick Schmaltz had a goal and an assist for Arizona in that
for them.
game. Yeah, they don't have a top player.
Uh-uh.
To get real. Chicago 3-0 this week.
Good for them.
They beat Vegas in a shootout, as Clay already mentioned, 3-2.
2 of them were shootouts. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 2 of them were shootouts. Oh, you mentioned both of them already. Tyler Johnson had a goal and an assist in that game, and the only shootout goal
Good for
to
him.
win. They beat Dallas 4-3, where they battled back from being down 3-0 to come back and win.
That is so disappointing by Dallas.
Oh yeah, Patrick Kane 2 goals and an assist in this game. Ty Domi 2 goals.
Max.
Max Domi 2 goals and an assist in this game, and Seth Jones 2 assists in this game.
He's minus 22 on the year.
Seth Jones is.
Yeah.
Well, Chicago's really bad. So
Well,
that
it's
doesn't
because
surprise me at all.
McCabe was the only positive defenseman.
Oh, well, he's not on Chicago anymore.
That's how I know the stat.
Yeah. Then they beat San Jose 4-3 in a shootout. Clay already mentioned this game. San Jose outshot them by quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Kurashev had the only shootout goal for Chicago.
Yep.
For Chicago to win. Max Domi is their top player with 3 goals and 2 assists in this week.
Wow.
Look at them messing up their tank. Dallas is up next. They only played 2 games, going 1-1, losing to Chicago in a very shameful game,
Very shameful.
4-3. Jamie Benn, of all people, had a goal and an assist in that game.
Of all people.
But you know what? They still blew that 3-0 lead that they had.
It's only more surprising if, like, Taylor Sagan does it.
Yeah, right. Is he even there?
Physically, yes.
Physically, he's there. They beat Vegas 3-2 in a shootout, as Clay already mentioned. Ben had 2 assists in this game, while Robertson and Hintz scored in the shootout for Dallas.
Well, I'm glad they're doing something right now.
And shockingly, Jamie Benn is their top player with a goal and 3 assists.
What's going on?
Look
Is
at
this
that.
10 years ago?
Look at that. Look at that. Moving on to Colorado, another team that only played 2 games this week, but they went 2-0.
Ooh.
Beating Winnipeg, and they dominated too.
that's
Beating
not
Winnipeg
good.
5-1.
Not good for Winnipeg this week.
McKinnon, Comfer, and Rantanen each had a goal and an assist. Well, Georgiev was 26 of 27, and then they beat Calgary 4-1.
Yep.
Nichushkin had 2 assists. Well, Georgiev was 28 of 29, and you could probably guess because I mentioned him in both of these games. Georgiev is their top player, going 2-0 with a 1.00 goals against and a 9.64 save percentage.
Gibson's is still more impressive.
That's true. Yeah, Georgiev did not have to face 150 shots in 3 games. So, Minnesota is the only team that had a better week than Colorado, going 3-0-1.
They needed that if
They
they wanted
did.
to stay in this hunt.
They're solidly in second place in the Central Division. However, I believe Colorado, from just what I just looked at in the standings, Colorado has like 2 or 3 games in hand on them, and then has 2 games in hand on Dallas.
Yep.
I think so. Colorado is catching up rapidly to the top of the standings. Minnesota beat LA 2-1 to begin on the week. Ryan Hartman had both goals in that game. They shut out Columbus, like I already mentioned, where Marc-Andre Fleury made 30 saves in a 2-0 win for. Excuse me, a 2-0 win for Minnesota.
Yep.
They lost to Toronto in overtime, 2-1. Not much else to say about that game. And then they beat Columbus in overtime, 3-2 to finish off the week, where they outshot them by 20 shots. And Kaprizov scored all 3 goals, including the overtime
he
game
got-
winner.
he got the hat trick.
Hat trick. and the overtime game winner. But their top players are their goalies, Marc-Andre Fleury and Philip Gustafsson, who were 3-0-1 together, obviously, with a 1-2-3 goals against average.
That's fun.
And a .956 save percentage between the two of them.
That's fun.
That's fun. Isn't that neat?
How neat is that?
That's pretty neat. Nashville, even though seemingly they have given up on the season, went 3-0 this week.
It's crazy.
They were 5 for 10 on the power play. However, they gave up 2 shorthanded goals against.
Yep.
They were 13 of 14 on the penalty kill, but they also scored a shorthanded goal this week.
Wow.
Look at them. Isn't that neat?
That's pretty
How
neat.
neat is that? They beat Vancouver in a shootout 5-4, where they were outshot by Vancouver 39-26 that I believe Clay had already mentioned. Parsonen had 2 assists in that game. Duchesne scored the only shootout goal.
Yep.
They beat San Jose 6-2, where they were 2 for 3 on the power play. Niederreiter had 2 goals and then was traded. Garland had 2 goals and an assist, and Duchesne had 3 assists. And then they beat Arizona 6-2, as I already mentioned. But this time for Nashville, Yossi had 2 goals and an assist. Duchesne and Novak had a goal and 2 assists. Novak's having a pretty good year
He's
for
having
them.
a very good year.
And 3 other players had 2 points
Wow.
in that game. Granlund, Novak, and Duchesne each had 6 points this week.
That's crazy. Good for them.
Nuts. But you know who had a really bad week was St. Louis.
Winnipeg?
Yeah, but St. Louis first. Going 1-2 this
Hey,
week.
they got 2 loser points.
They did, and they were 7 for 6 on the penalty kill.
Wow.
Yeah, look at them. Losing to Carolina 4-1 straight up. Losing to Vancouver 3-2 in overtime, where they were outshot by a wide margin. Bennington did his best,
Did his
making
best.
38 of 41 saves.
Again, Pedersen said, I was tired of this, and
Yeah.
then he went and scored.
And then Bennington did his best again, but they still lost to Pittsburgh 3-2 in overtime,
Yep.
where they were outshot 48-27. Falk had a goal and an assist in that game.
So, in between...
And just really quick, Bennington 45-48. Go ahead.
Okay. In between the St. Louis, the Vancouver, and the Pittsburgh game, their coach, Craig Berube, called out their top players,
Yep.
saying that they weren't trying.
Yep.
And it seemed like the first period of St. Louis, they were just like...
And then they lit up 20-something shots and only mustered like 9 of their own.
Exactly. So they're
Yep.
just like, hey, we'll show you.
We'll show you, not trying. I won't even shoot the puck.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was fun. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Berube might be out at the end of the year.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
It seems like he lost the room after that.
Yeah. I mean, I understand where he's trying to like tough love it there, but
When
sometimes it doesn't work.
That's
so.
true, but when you have the wildly outspoken Robert Thomas
Yeah.
say that
For Matchbox 20.
I don't know what you're talking about, like Robert Thomas went to the public, like
Yeah.
to the media, saying I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, to be fair to Robert Thomas, him, Kyrou, and Buchnevich have played their asses off this year. It's
Exactly.
the rest of the team that really hasn't done too much.
Well, but Ruby was specifically talking about their top players.
That's ridiculous.
He said his top players
Ridiculous.
are not putting in the effort.
And he was like, "Oh,
We'll show you.
I'm gonna get you fired."
Yeah. So when Thomas of all players is saying you're
Yeah.
full of shit, you've lost the room.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
It doesn't matter that you've won. The
And
cup.
he's like not even old. He's not a veteran. He's like 22 or
Right.
something.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that you won the cup 3 years ago,
Yeah, right.
4 years ago.
With who? Who do you want to cup with? Was he the coach with St. Louis?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
No.
Yeah. Anyway,
2019.
they don't
It's
really
been a while.
They don't really have a top player. Bennington, I will say, tried his very best
Yes.
this week. Winnipeg. They did better than St. Louis. They won a game this
Yes.
week. They went 1-3. They beat the Rangers to begin the week, 4-1, starting off strong against a pretty good Rangers team.
Yep.
Kyle Connor had a goal and 2 assists. Shifley 2 goals. Appleton and Morrissey each had 2 assists in that game. Then they lost to the Islanders 2-1. Lost to Colorado 5-1. And then
Yeah.
lost to the Islanders again 4-0. You don't get a top player for
No.
that. I don't have much to talk about injury-wise. We already talked about all the trades. Cale Makar is in concussion protocol
Still.
still. So who knows how long that will take for him to clear that. Cole Perfetti is out at least 8 weeks for Winnipeg with an upper body injury.
Yep.
I don't think I wrote it down, but was it Ryan Johansson?
Yes.
On Nashville is out for an extended period of time.
At least the season.
Yeah, so I don't remember what that injury.
Lower
maybe I
body,
can bring
it
up.
was, he had leg surgery after
Cat Friendly usually says.
apparently his leg got cut by a skate.
Oh, that's right. Yes, his calf got cut.
Yeah,
by
so
a skate.
he
Sorry,
had
that's
surgery.
transactions.
He's done for the season.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a bummer for him. I don't see it on here. Maybe they haven't announced how long he's out yet.
They mentioned it on the NHL website.
Yeah, I saw it somewhere that I didn't write it down though. So my
He's
apologies
long-
for that, but
he's
long term out.
long term.
That must have cut a tendon or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad. Speaking of Nashville, David Poyle is stepping down as the GM and president of the Nashville Predators after 26 years at the end of the season, and
He was the longest.
he's the longest tenured GM. He's been there since the beginning.
Yeah, no,
for
he's been there
Nashville.
since the beginning.
And Barry Trotz is taking over for him. He might already be having a say in this. We were talking about this before the episode. I
From
wasn't
what
sure.
I saw, Barry Trotz is taking over immediately, but it's not official until the 30th of June.
Got it.
So
30th. Yeah, the very end of the
the
season.
very end of the
yeah.
season. So he's taking over. I'd like to.
Maybe just Poyle's helping him get a lay of the land and stuff.
Yes, very much so. Because Barry Trotz is
Barry Trotz was
Nashville's
the first
first
coach in Nashville
and
history.
the winningest coach in
Well, he
Nashville.
coached for Nashville for 15 years.
Right.
Did
So
Was he the one that took them to the Stanley Cup final?
it was either that or
No, I
Laviolette.
think he was. No, I think he was on Washington by then.
Now, I like to think Poyle was the one who traded Niederreiter. He saw the reaction and retired, and Trotz was the one who came in and traded Janot for what he did.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a fun canon to have in our heads. Yeah.
Trotz was like, we'll do this right. And
Yeah.
then
So Trotz will officially be Nashville's GM and president.
it makes sense
next
to
year,
why he did
Did
not
not
take
want to go to Winnipeg to be their
the
coach.
Winnipeg job.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
he wanted
I wonder
upper
if
management.
Poyle was like, hey, I'm going to retire.
Hold
after
off.
This
Yeah.
Hold off, and you can just come back here.
right.
And I already mentioned St. Louis took Kasperi Kapanen off waivers from Pittsburgh. Usually I don't mention waiver transactions, but that was really nice of St. Louis
It's
to
a
do for Pittsburgh.
3.2.
$3.2 million off of Pittsburgh's cap.
Hmm.
So that was a really cool move of St. Louis.
Fortunate.
And then people were like, "Oh, is he going to play that game?" Because it was the same day, and
No.
no, he did not. But it would have been funny if
It
he
would have
did,
been very
yeah.
funny.
That's all I got.
All right. I'm up.
Tell me about the Atlantic.
I'll tell you about the Atlantic. So the reason I mentioned games played about Pacific, because I really wanted to do it with the Atlantic because
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of crazy out in the East with games played,
East is a madhouse right now.
especially differences in games played and points. So that's why I started doing the amount of games played.
Yeah.
First up is Montreal with Yuppie.
Oh, Yuppie, right.
They
The
s-
weirdest, one of the weirdest mascots.
They saved him from Montreal when they
the Expos. Yeah, used to be the Expos mascot.
Yeah, the Expos when they disbanded, so they brought him in.
Well, they didn't disband, they just moved.
Yeah, but
Became
UP didn't,
Washington. UP did not.
because that is Brian Henson.
Oh, it was Jim Henson's son?
I think so.
Brother or something?
Son.
Yeah.
He's a Henson.
He does
works.
look like a Muppet.
He's a Henson.
He
works.
does look like a Muppet. That makes sense.
They went 2-1 this week. 59
them.
games, 25 wins, 30 losses, 4 overtime losses. That's good for 54 points and 8th in the division.
Can I make a weird call right now?
Yeah.
I think Montreal is going to win the draft lottery.
Do
I'm
you,
just calling it right now.
do you think Montreal or Florida's going to win it?
Either way, Montreal is going to get that pick.
Yeah.
Because people accuse the NHL of being kind of underhanded sometimes, specifically about Pittsburgh getting the superstar draft picks.
So when Washington wins it this year.
No, I'm just saying, I'm calling it right now one of their oldest franchises that has been floundering for a while. They'll be like, oh, Montreal won. Weird.
I think Washington wins it.
Watch Pittsburgh miss the playoffs by like 1 point. Win.
But you don't get to win it unless you're bottom 11.
Miss it by a bunch of points. Win. How pissed would everybody be?
Everyone would be pissed.
I think that would
All
be.
right.
I think that would be the most
They started
chaos.
the
Go
week
ahead.
by beating the Devils 5-2. Then they beat the Flyers 5-2 again.
Yep.
And then they lost.
One of those is more impressive than the other.
Yes. And then they lost to Ottawa to finish their week.
Can you hear the snaps of my fingers?
Yeah, I did. That was gross. Nick Suzuki had a goal and assist in the Devils'
Suzuki.
win. They got outshot 40-18, as Bert mentioned.
Sick.
Montembeault was the real star of that play.
Yeah.
that game.
Yeah, for real.
Allen was in net against Philadelphia. They didn't have to kill any penalties. That's fine.
Oh, that's always a weird. That's always weird when that
Hoffman had 2 assists in that game.
I keep forgetting he's still in the league.
I know, but he's been playing for Montreal this entire time.
He's been on Montreal for a few seasons now.
And then Montembeault was in the loss against Ottawa. They really controlled this game. It was every goal was very much against the run of play, like weird bounces. Because this is one of the games that I watched entirely.
Mm-hmm.
They outshot Ottawa 33-22. Matheson had a goal, and it was just weird, like maybe a 5-minute span where Ottawa just took control, and that was it. And they scored 3 goals.
That's what happens sometimes. Yeah.
1 for 7 on the power play, 3 for 4 on the penalty kill. Suzuki and Matheson had 3 goals and an assist, and then 2 goals, 2 assists, respectively. So they're their top guys.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay's, nope. Mix it up. Florida's up next.
Rewind time.
Florida's up next with Victor E. Rat. They're the guys that have.
Oh yeah,
They
have
have
two.
two?
They have 2. Yeah.
They have Stanley C. Panther or some crap.
Something like that. Yeah.
I don't care
I
about
wonder
him.
if it's Stanley Cup Panther.
Yes,
That's stupid.
but they haven't won one, so they don't.
Victory Rat.
Yes.
Victory Rat. So funny.
Victor Rat definitely gets that nod. They've played 61 games, 29 wins, 26 losses, 6 loser points, 64 points overall for 5th. 2 games this week.
Oh.
4-3 overtime win against Anaheim, where they outshot them 55-32. Bobrovsky, 29 for 32.
Poor John Gibson.
And then Buffalo was a 1-3 loss. They outshot them 54-35. 2 for 4 on the penalty kill.
That's bad.
Yeah,
that's
1 for
pretty
2
bad.
each game.
Pretty bad.
E2 Luosterainen is their top player with 3 assists because he had more than a point a game.
Look at that.
But yeah,
Good job, E2. Sounds like a
Brutus.
droid. Sounds like a droid from Star Wars.
So yeah, that's where they are. Now Tampa Bay is up with Thunderbug.
Thunderbug.
Yeah, their lightning bug
my
mascot. 2-1-1 this week.
That reminds me, just very quick tangent. It reminds me of that old drink that was mentioned in, I think, a Dollop. Shout out the Dollop. Thunderbird.
Yes.
It was like some weird, like, wine or something.
Oh no, yeah, I remember that.
It was like gallon jugs of Thunderbird.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
That people snuck into either a Philadelphia game or nickel beer or 10-cent beer night.
I don't
one
think
of those two.
I don't think it was 10-cent beer night.
That is it was at a sports game,
Yeah.
and somebody snuck in a gallon jug of Thunderbird.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry.
All right.
Tangent over. Shout out Dollop.
Thunderbug, 59 games played overall, 37 wins, 18 losses, 4 loser points, 78 points overall. They are solidly in 3rd.
Yeah,
6-1 win against Anaheim. Yeah, here's where we go. So, Vasilevsky played the first 3 games. Elliott played the last game.
Yeah, that makes sense.
6-1 win. Vasilevsky, 960 save percentage. Perbex had 3 assists.
Good old Publix.
They outshot Anaheim 44-25. Then against an overtime loss against Buffalo. They did outshoot Buffalo 41-23. They gave up a shorthanded goal. That was the overtime.
The overtime losing goal was a shorthanded
by
goal.
Ilya Lyubushkin.
Oh my God. Of all people.
Defensive defenseman.
God, that hurts.
Might have been his first goal of the year.
That reminds me, there was
on a breakaway.
When I was in college, Pittsburgh knocked out the Islanders out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
And it was in overtime. Do you know who scored that goal?
Brian Dumoulin.
Mm-hmm. Brooks Orpik.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
Almost as bad as Brian. Oh, I forgot to mention Brian Dumoulin scored a goal against Tampa Bay. That was his first goal in 100 games. I'm sorry. I meant to mention that.
3-0 win. Shutout Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Vasilevsky, 45 for 45. Braden Point had a goal and an assist. They got outshot 45-18 by Detroit. Detroit controlled this game.
Whoa.
And Vasilevsky stood on his
that
head.
Vasilevsky power, though.
And then the Elliott, Tampa Bay played the same way against
Pittsburgh.
But
And
Elliott was in net.
Nowhere near as good as Vasilevsky.
Point had a goal and assist in that game.
Can I say, in that game, they showed Vasilevsky sitting on the bench. First of all, I don't know why they didn't pull Elliott.
Because Vasilevsky played the night before. It was a
I guess
back-to-back.
that makes sense. But they showed Vasilevsky sitting on the bench. His hair is insane.
Yeah. No.
It's like really curly. But it's like curly in that like white guy afro way.
Yeah.
And he was wearing a hat, and it was just like out past his shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
His hair is nuts.
And because he wasn't super sweaty in his goal,
it's all dried and poofed out.
It looks normal.
Really funny.
It looks like a normal hairstyle when he's like super sweaty.
Oh sure, when it's like all pressed down under his. But they showed him on the bench. I was like, who is that? Is that Vasilevsky?
Yeah, Fro. They were 4 for 13 on the power play. Braden Point is their top player with 4 goals and 5 assists. He had a great week.
Yeah, that's a good week.
Ottawa's up next with Sparty.
Don't mind while I just
The
slap
Lion.
my dog's belly.
1 and 2 this week. Sparty.
Who's this for? Ottawa?
Ottawa.
There's 2 Lion mascots? I'd
They're-
forgotten about that. L.A. and Ottawa.
Yeah. There's 2 Sabretooth mascots.
Who's the other one? Nashville and who?
Buffalo.
Why?
Because it's a saber.
Oh my God! It
Tooth.
should just be a buffalo.
I agree, but we'll get there.
God.
Because they're after Ottawa. 1 and 2 this week. 58 games played. 28, 26, and 4. They're 60 points. That is good for 7th. So 5th is 64 for Florida. They have 60. That's 2 wins away.
Yeah.
It's very tight in the
getting
Atlantic
close,
right
yeah.
now. They started
Well,
their
those
week.
wild card spots are getting close, just kind of in general.
Oh, yeah. They lost to Boston in a very close game. Mandalise is in net. Remember this? He was in net last week, too.
Oh, yeah.
He's their 3rd goalie.
Mandalise. That sounds like an instrument of
Yes.
some sort, you know?
Cam Talbot came back to get shut out by Boston for nothing. Not Boston, Carolina for
Get
nothing.
shelled by Carolina.
And then Sogard was in net to keep Montreal away. Mad Sogard played very well. 5-2 win. They were perfect on the penalty kill, 9 for 9.
He's probably their goalie of the future, Matt Sogard.
Yes, he very much is. Cam Talbot might be on the move this trade deadline.
Maybe. I mean, he's been injured a bunch this
Yes.
year. I'd be surprised if a team gives up too much for him.
And then Derek Brassard had a goal and an assist. They don't get a top player because a lot of their scoring was like spread out. And you were 1
that
for 2.
happens. Yeah.
Buffalo's up next, 3-1 this week. It's awesome. Sabretooth is their
Stupid.
yes.
Should be a buffalo. And
Yes.
his name should be Buffalo.
Is their mascot. They have 58 games played, 31, 23, and 4, 66 points, 4th place in the division. Losing 3-6 to Toronto. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen was in net to start. He did not finish. He was 6 for 10.
Yeah, that's bad.
Alex Tuck had a goal and assist that game. Next up is that overtime win against Tampa Bay. Eric Comrie was in net for that game. Thompson had a hat trick.
Yeah.
And then following up by a win against Florida, 3-1. Anderson was in net, saving 49 of 50 shots.
Yeah, what a game by the old man Anderson.
Oh, he stacked up. It was absolutely crazy. I don't know why it was they only credited him for 50 because it said Tampa Bay or Florida had 54 shots.
Oh. Maybe he had to come out. Maybe he had like
maybe a couple of things. I don't know.
Well, maybe he had like a what's it called?
Equipment thing.
But issue. Maybe he had to come out.
No one else got credited for saves, so he might have gotten over 50 saves.
Strange. Okay.
And is the first man over 41 to do that.
Well, of course,
for a long time.
He's the first goalie over 40 for a lot of things, probably.
Earlier this season, he hit 300 wins.
Good for him.
Quick hit 300 wins as well earlier.
Quick's slightly younger.
Yes.
Not by a lot.
Hasn't been in the league as much.
That's true.
Quick is 6 years younger than Anderson.
Is he?
He's like 35.
Oh. Anderson's old, man.
He's old.
It's pretty impressive that he has kept it up this much.
So, yeah, that's why Buffalo's running with 3 goalies.
Yeah.
Anderson's
old man needs a break.
Anderson's their best goalie.
That's saying a lot.
But he can only play like once a week.
They should try to swing for a goalie, honestly.
Well, they're not pushing for the playoffs this year.
I'm just saying though, I think they might be able to get Karel Vejmelka for not that much from Arizona.
Anderson's their best goalie, but he can only play once a week. Luukkonen is their goalie of the future. He is the highest highs, lowest lows, but they're trying.
Well, he's a young goalie.
Exactly. Yeah. So they're just trying to get him consistent. Comrie has been fine, but he's been really hit with the injury bug. Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah. I think they could get Karel Vejmelka for not like a first round pick. No. I bet they could get him for a couple seconds or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they like them picks. They like them prospects.
That's fair. I mean, like we said before, Buffalo doesn't want to sell
the future
yet, which is fair.
Once they get in that win now window, we'll see.
Once they make the playoffs a couple years in a row, then I bet they'll start going for rentals.
They finished their week by beating Washington 7-4.
Yes, they did.
Luukkonen was in net there. Dylan Cousins, 3 goals, 1 assist. He got his first career hat trick.
Oh, that was his first career
hat trick. He is the 3rd player ever from his town to hit professional.
Where's he from?
Whitehorse, Yukon.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah,
they keep saying the workhorse from Whitehorse.
It's funny.
Yes.
Wait, so he's the 3rd ever player coming from there?
Yeah. Hands down the best.
I'll be honest, that's still probably a lot from middle of nowhere Yukon.
Yes.
In case you guys don't know, isn't the Yukon that's
the one that's
pretty far north?
That's the one that's next to Alaska.
Yeah. Yukon and Labrador are both near Alaska, so that's pretty far north in Canada.
It's north as hell.
Yeah, that's like nothing tundra Canada. Mm-hmm. So that's actually pretty impressive that there's 3 players from that town, city, whatever. Yeah.
All right, Tage Thompson is their top player.
Of course he is.
4 goals, 4 assists.
He's a bad man.
He's a bad man.
He's a big bad man.
For $7 million.
What a steal.
All right, Toronto's up next with Carlton the Polar Bear.
I forgot his name was Carlton.
It's either Charlton or Carlton. I might be missing H, but
I think Carlton is funnier.
I think it's Carlton. 3-0 for Toronto.
Hey, look at them.
They played 60 games so far. 37.
This week?
Yep.
Whoa, that's crazy.
They're killing it.
That's nuts.
37-15-8. That's 82 points in second. 6-3 win against Buffalo. Samsonov is really making his mark in net. Ryan O'Reilly got his first goal for Toronto, and then he picked up his 2nd and 3rd goal. He got a hat trick there.
Sorry, keep going.
Then they beat Minnesota in overtime with Samsonov as well. Willie Nylander, 1 goal and 1 assist, and then they finished by absolutely drubbing Seattle. Watch this game. Austin Matthews had 2 goals. It was just a complete
domination.
complete domination.
You know what's crazy? This is what I was looking up. If Toronto was in the Western Conference, they would be in first place by 6 points.
Yeah. It's the
insane.
East is
The
crazy.
East, I hate the Eastern Conference.
Well, think about there's waves to this. About a decade ago, it was the Pacific.
That's true. Yeah, it comes and goes. But
Think
like,
about the arms race that was San Jose, Anaheim, and the Kings,
yeah.
and Chicago.
in Chicago,
And Vancouver was in that mix.
Detroit too, to some extent.
Yeah,
Back when they used to be
were
in the
also,
West.
also
Yeah.
in the West. Like, it was just a bloodbath.
Yeah.
And the East wasn't that strong.
True.
Now it's
True.
flipped.
Now it's flipped. Now the East is by far better than the
Right.
Western Conference.
Well, it's because this cap, the
cap is really
causes waves.
Yeah.
Mitch Marner is their top player. He had 8 assists. He didn't have a single goal, but he had 8 assists.
Well, I mean that's kind of his game. He doesn't
Yes.
score a ton, but he has a lot of assists.
8 assists in 3 games, and most of them were primaries.
That's yeah.
I think,
mean,
like,
he's a
fi-
he's a very good
I think
playmaker.
like
Yeah.
5 of them were primary assists.
Remember like 2 years ago when everybody was like, Mitch Marner's the problem in Toronto.
I mean, I hate his dad, but
What, his dad's a jag off, but
yeah.
him himself is not
Yeah,
the problem
no.
in Toronto.
All right, Boston's up next with Blades.
The Bear.
No, he's a Lion, I believe.
No, he doesn't. Why would he be a lion?
I don't
It's the Bruins. Bruin is
No, he's a
another name
bear.
for a bear.
I'm aware they could be stupid.
There's no way. I'm going to look it up. There's absolutely no way that he is a fucking lion.
I might have gotten the Kings and might have been looking at Bailey at the same time.
I embarrass you right now.
That's fine. Blades the Bruin Bear. All right.
Oh, look at him. He's a bear.
He is a bear. All right, cool. Like,
Not a lion in sight.
I mean, yeah. It's all right. All right, Blades the Bear.
Blade's a bear. Boston.
58 games played, 45.
Okay, let's just skip Boston. Who's next?
8. We're not skipping Boston.
I want to skip Boston. They went undefeated. Who cares? They're the best team in the league.
I care.
I get it.
95 points.
They're gonna lose in the first round
First, beating Ottawa.
to Buffalo.
Fine. You know what? We won't talk about the game.
No,
But
go
in
ahead.
the-
I'm sorry.
We'll
being a
we'll
brat.
do the same thing as Anaheim. We'll talk about their best player, Linus
That-
Ullmark.
Yeah, he's the only one we should talk about.
2-0.
Mm-hmm.
1 goals against
Yeah.
average.
Ooh. Uh-huh.
1 goals against average. 9.66 save percentage. 56 for 58. And a goal against
my man.
Vancouver.
My man scored a goalie goal.
Because the 8th player to ever score a goalie goal in the
Really?
NHL.
Only 8, huh?
He's the 9th,
Or 9th? Whatever.
No.
That's still not that many.
8th goalie. 9th time.
I think Brodeur had a couple, right?
2.
Yeah. Wait, let me see. I know it was Brodeur, Hextall, Waugh, Allmark. That's all I got.
That's all I got.
I think Waugh scored in the playoffs too.
Vancouver.
Or maybe it was Brodeur. It doesn't matter.
It was 2-0 at some point. Vancouver was swarming. They got a goal to bring it in within 1. Allmark said, "Screw it, I'll do it myself," and then lofted it over everybody.
It was definitely a fuck it kind of play.
Yep.
Just watching it because it wasn't like there weren't any Vancouver players around
Vancouver
him.
players were coming.
Yeah, they were right near him, and he was like, "Fuck it," and he shot it down. He shot it really well
shot
too.
it-
He nailed that shit.
He shot it really well.
Yeah, congratulations. That's cool.
He almost scored another one earlier this season.
Yeah, I hate it so much that Boston's like, we got the best record by far, and also our goalie scored a
Well,
goal.
don't forget, Swayman hit the post earlier this season.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did.
Dude, Marc-Andre Fleury has got to be so mad. He's been trying to score a goal for years.
Shesterkin's also trying hard. Shesterkin's been a whiff away.
Shesterkin should focus on playing better
He should.
This year.
I'm
I'm just saying.
Shesterkin has been a post with away once.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Didn't score.
No.
Doesn't matter.
That's why
Marc-Andre Fleury's got to be so fucking mad right
That's
now.
why-
He's been trying so hard to score.
Swayman and Allmark always do a goalie hug at the end of every game.
Yeah, yeah.
Every
It's very
win.
cute. Yeah, it's
it's
really cute,
adorable.
yeah.
Swayman started by throwing his hat at Allmark is like a "How dare you score before me?" because both of them have been trying to score all season, and then he mugged him.
It makes me so mad that I don't really hate the Boston players.
I love the Boston players.
I love their goalies, and honestly, Brad Marchand I like to a certain extent too, because on the ice he's a dirtbag. Off the ice, he's a great person.
He's hilarious. He also started. He tweeted that he's back on.
He's back on Cameo because he got fined this week.
Yes.
Oh my god.
And
he's funny.
If
he stands up for people's rights.
If you pay him $200, you get a personalized video.
I'm not giving him $200.
That's what Cameo is. Yeah.
No, that is what Cameo is.
I didn't know that. I had to look that
up.
up.
Did you not know that? Oh yeah. But like, he's also like, basically threatened to come and beat up people for using the F slur online and stuff. So it's like, I like David Pastrnak. They all seem like nice people. I really hate that they're on the Bruins.
Man, when Pasternak's on the Capitals next year, it's gonna be great.
Dream big, baby. Just like Jake Chikrin on the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Unsigned free agent, like a free agent signing, Pastrnak.
Oh boy, can you imagine if you called that right now though?
Oh man,
you're gonna shit your pants next season if they somehow sign David Pastrnak.
It's a free agent.
First of all, if he gets to free agency and then Washington signs him, it was gonna really suck. Is when the Penguins sign.
All right, we're finishing up. We're finishing up with Detroit.
Look, both our teams aren't that good. We got to dream big.
Dream big. Yeah. Detroit 2-1 this week with Al the Octopus as their mascot.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They 58 games played, 28, 22, and 8, 64 points, 5th overall. They started by beating Washington 3-1.
Yes, they
and
did.
They beat the Rangers 4-1.
Yes, they did.
And then they got stonewalled by Vasilevsky.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
45-18. Like what can you do?
They like you said, they dominated that game in statistical categories. They just could not beat Vasilevsky.
Pius Suter had 2 goals against Washington, including a shorthanded goal.
It's Pius Suter.
It's not Pius.
Is it Pew?
It's Pew.
It's spelled like Pius.
I know.
Oh, I thought it was Pius this entire time.
I literally heard them say it.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
I would have said Pius, but then they were like,
I thought it was
Pew.
Pius.
Pew 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 pew, including a shorthanded goal. Andrew Kopp had a goal and 2 assists against the Rangers.
Yes, he did against the team that he played for half a season.
And I mean, he's their top player because that's the highest points score in those 3 games.
Take that.
Yeah, take that. Huso was in net all 3 times. He played great, and except for that, like Tampa Bay.
You can't even say. Well, I guess he only faced 18 shots, but like still
17 shots. He faced 17 shots.
Still.
Yeah. So adjusted, they were 7 for 7 on the penalty kill. Like I don't have much to say about that.
They had a pretty good week.
All right, news wise. Marchand got fined $5,000 for a trip.
5K. For a dangerous trip.
It was bad. It was basically he was like grappling Bjorkstrand and basically slew-footed him. Like put his right.
Oh, they called slew-footing for the first time ever.
No, they called tripping.
I mean, that's what it is. But...
basically stepped his right foot behind him and then threw him over it. So.
Well, sounds like it was deserved.
It was very much deserved. Then. Dahlin for Buffalo is day-to-day with an undisclosed injury.
Oh, no.
And he didn't play in the Washington game. Tuck is week-to-week with a lower body injury.
Saw that.
Also didn't play in the Washington game.
Saw that
they
one.
still put up 7 points.
Yeah, they still got Tage Thompson.
For Detroit, Dylan Larkin got fined $5,000 for a cross-check against TJ Oshie, where he got a match penalty.
Oh, that must have been a bad cross-check if he got a match penalty for that.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't good. Got him right in the mouth.
That'll do it.
5-minute major that Detroit scored on. And...
That'll do it.
I mean...
Oh, that Detroit scored on. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I misunderstood what you just said.
Yes, that Detroit scored on.
Well, that's pretty bad for Washington.
No, I think it ended up being 1-1. Like, they...
One shorthanded, one power play.
Yeah, maybe. I might not be entirely sure.
That's still not great for Washington.
They might have scored another power play goal. It was still very frustrating as a Washington fan.
No, they definitely didn't because that game was 4-1 or 3-1. So they at most scored one power play goal.
Yes. So yeah, exactly. Their only goal was on the power play.
Gotcha.
It was either a different power play or that
Or
5-minute
that
kill.
one. Or that one.
And then Rasmussen is week to week with a lower body, but Lucas Raymond is back.
That'll help him.
Hasn't played this week, but he will be coming back.
He's
for the
coming
week.
back for this week.
And then Jacob Vrana played against Washington, got sent back down,
Oh.
making moves for Raymond, basically.
Oh, okay.
They have to work out some
Veroni's still working through, I'm sure, his
fitness
addiction problems that he was having. Or his fitness, yeah.
Speaking of addiction problems, we're on to Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Barkov is day-to-day with a hand. He missed the last game. He's going to miss the Tampa Bay game coming up. Sam Bennett is out with a lower body. He was day-to-day last week, but he missed all of this week, and he's still not going to play against the Tampa Bay game. Giovanni Smith is on the LTIR. He got hit by a Radko Gudas shot in the face against Anaheim.
Oh, his own teammate.
Yes, friendly fire. He's done LTIR.
Done for the
It's
year,
not good.
probably.
Facial
Yeah.
contusion.
Ugh.
And unfortunately, Spencer Knight is on the NHL Player Assistance Program. We hope he gets the
Yeah.
help that he needs.
Obviously, yeah.
He's been up and down. His
That might
game,
explain
why,
it. Yeah, that
does
might
explain
explain
why.
it. Yeah.
He had a really cool helmet where, like, kids from a child's hospital in the area drew it. Really cool.
I hope he gets
But-
whatever help he needs.
Yeah, no, I very much hope he gets
Yeah.
the help that he needs because he's like 22, 23.
Being
Like,
that
he's a young guy.
being that close to Miami has
Yeah.
got to be real hard especially for a 22-year-old.
Exactly.
You know?
All right, we're moving on to Montreal. Joel Armia is week to week. He is missing the California road trip. It's coming up with an upper respiratory infection. It was said upper
Not-
respiratory infection.
not COVID,
Not
though.
COVID.
Yeah.
Up URI.
Oh, probably like pneumonia or something.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Weidman is on the IR with an upper body, and then Kirby Doc is week to week as well. He is missing this California road trip with a lower body. We're going to finish up with Tampa Bay. No other injuries, news in between. Tampa Bay, Eric Cernak got a 2-game suspension for an elbow on Okposo
Oh yes, that's right.
against
yeah.
the Buffalo Sabres. Yeah, it was dirty. It was dirty. It was well deserved.
That's why you got it. A
Yes.
2-game suspension for it.
And that's all I got.
That's all we got.
Thank you all for joining us here this
no.
week.
Do one quick check. I don't think any trades while we were talking.
And no real big signings. Nope, no trades.
So thank you guys for listening. As always, you can find us wherever podcasts are found. We'll be back next week. A little bit of a shorter week because we'll be recording a little earlier.
But we'll fit the trade deadline in.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be, as long as Saturday works, we'll be talking the day after the trade deadline. But yeah, we'll be back next week. Same puck time.
Same puck place.
Bye-bye.
Beer was good.
Oh, yeah, it was. Bye. Clay says bye.